Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe to the channel for regular content on ancient architecture, as well as all of the latest news from the world of archaeology. The Layer Pyramid, located in the necropolis of Zawyet el Aryan in northern Egypt, is a ruined step pyramid dating back to the 3rd dynasty of the Old Kingdom. Today, sitting inside the confines of a restricted military area, the pyramid is largely forgotten and badly neglected. It hasn't been explored in any great detail, and published documents, data, photographs and footage are really at a bare minimum, so apologies in advance. John Shea Perring first examined it in 1839, and Carl Richard Lepsius added it to his pyramid list in 1848. In 1886, Gaston Maspero searched for an entrance into the subterranean passages, but these were not discovered until 1896 by Jacques de Morgan, but excavations did not progress very far. The main investigations were conducted by Alessandro Bassanti in 1900, and then 10 years later by George Reisner and Clarence Fisher. Although their work was only separated by 10 years, their data is conflicting, including the size of the monument and the number of passages. No artefacts were found in any excavation, there was no trace of a burial, and so, even today, we're still unclear whether this pyramid was a burial structure or whether the whole project was abandoned halfway through. The pyramid was once surrounded by a necropolis of large mastabas belonging to the 3rd dynasty, and the form and style of the pyramid is very much in keeping with the step pyramid of Djoser and the buried pyramid of Sekhemkhet. Therefore, it is a fair assumption that this pyramid is 3rd dynasty, predating the Great Pyramids of Giza and the Pyramids of Snefru at Dashur, but it is thought to post-date the Pyramid of Sekhemkhet. That's because the substructure of the Layer Pyramid looks to be more simplified, a more advanced version of the Pyramid of Sekhemkhet. Most believe it was the work of a king with the Horus name Kaba, who is thought to have ruled Egypt just before Huni, who was the final ruler of the 3rd dynasty. But Rainer Stadelmann believed that Kaba and Huni were one and the same, that the Horus name Kaba belonged to the throne name Huni. Others suggest that Kaba identifies with a king named Teti on the Ramesside kings list, but others say he was a king called Hudjefer II. Either way, the only reason Kaba is thought to be responsible for this pyramid is because his Serek appears on 8 marble bowls discovered at the nearby mastabas Z500, which Egyptologist Nabil Suellim believed was actually a mortuary temple belonging to the funerary complex of the Layer Pyramid. Yep, you're probably just as confused as I am, but we can blame it all on the severe lack of archaeological work at the site, which really is just ridiculous for a structure this ancient and this important. So, what do we actually know? Well, the Layer Pyramid is located 5.5 kilometers or 3 miles southeast of Giza, and 9 kilometers or 5.5 miles northwest of Saqqara, on a ridge just above the Nile floodplain, one of 2 major structures at Zawyet el Aryan. It has a roughly square base, with sides measuring around 84 metres or 275 feet in length, being smaller than the famous step pyramid of Djoser. Due to its size, Egyptologist Jean-Philippe Lauer estimated that it was originally planned to have 5 steps and would have reached a height of 42 to 45 metres or 138 or 148 feet. Today, only 2 of these great steps do remain, and the ruined pyramid is just 17 metres or 56 feet in height. Because of the poor state of the pyramid, today we can see into the core of the structure, which is really just a mound of poor quality rough limestone blocks excavated from the local bedrock. Reisner said the core was 11 metres square, and then another layer of stone was set against it, 2.6 metres or 8 feet in thickness, and this was made of the same local limestone. Then, as Reisner's excavations extended outwards, there was found to be more and more layers, 14 in total, all of the same stone and all of the same thickness, so that in cross-section it looked like this. Each layer was angled at 68 degrees, and it is thought that the outermost layer would have been clad with the finishing stone. It's worth noting that the limestone used for the core masonry is so poor that it's more like mud brick than solid rock. Whether or not the pyramid was ever finished, we just don't know. Famous Egyptologist Rainer Stadelmann was of the opinion it was finished, but Miroslav Werner thinks the king had a premature death, and so the pyramid was left incomplete. This is because of a lack of cladding found at the site, and the large amount of mud bricks at the base of the pyramid is thought to be the remnants of a construction ramp. The pyramid's associated chambers and passages are all below ground and are extremely similar to what we see in the Pyramid of Sekhemkhet. The entrance lies to the east, which is quite strange for a pyramid because you would usually enter from the north. According to Maragiglio and Rinaldi, the reason for this was that a temple was planned for the northern side, but Aidan Dodson believed an eastern entrance was to allow easy access to the pyramid storerooms, which are located immediately beneath the eastern entrance. The entrance leads to a 36-metre long steep staircase, and then a corridor which heads to the west. At the end of the corridor is a straight vertical shaft. Near the top of this shaft is what is known as the upper corridor, which is an unfinished passageway that heads south towards the pyramid. At the bottom of the shaft is a T-shaped intersection. If you turn to the left, the passage heads to the lower corridor, and from here you descend down a narrow staircase before the passage becomes horizontal again. It was noted that long ago in antiquity, the ceiling had collapsed. You then enter the burial chamber, which is below the apex of the pyramid. The burial chamber is 26 metres or 85 feet below ground and measures 3.63 by 2.65 metres with a ceiling height of 3 metres. The walls were found to be bare, and there were no traces of a sarcophagus inside and also no artefacts. Another reason why some believe that this pyramid was unused and unfinished. But Barsanti didn't think that this was the king's burial chamber because he notes another corridor leading off the top of the stairway above the burial chamber. He thought that this would lead to the true burial chamber, but the work was never completed. Strangely, Reisner never mentioned the upper passage, and so for a long time we didn't know with any certainty what was down there. The two sets of excavations in the early 20th century had conflicting data, but then, in 1996, a photograph resurfaced and it showed that there was in fact an upper passage heading southwards, proving Barsanti was correct. But many of Barsanti's measurements seem to conflict with Reisner's and Fisher's. For example, Barsanti also said the vertical shaft went much deeper, again disagreeing with Reisner and Fisher's findings. We still don't know who is correct, and unless a new survey can be conducted, we may never know the true measurements, as well as the full and true extent of this pyramid substructure. Just look at Reisner's and Barsanti's diagrams side by side. How do we know which one is correct? Or maybe it's a bit of both. But anyway, going back to the T-shaped intersection, and if you turn right, you enter a U-shaped gallery with rows of small chambers, 32 in total, which are supposed to be storage rooms for grave goods for the king. The gallery is 120 metres long east to west, is 1 metre wide and 1.8 metres in height. According to Mark Lehner, the gallery was found, quote, clean and empty, as if the workmen had only just left, end quote. Unlike other Old Kingdom pyramids, there were apparently no traces of an enclosure wall, but ruined mud brick walls on the eastern side of the pyramid could indicate a temple was built, or at least was in the process. It may seem like we do know a lot, but the Layer Pyramid really is another sad story in the study of Egyptian pyramids. It's a pyramid project of an Old Kingdom king that has never been fully excavated, properly surveyed or explored. No modern methods of exploration have ever been used, no geophysics, and not even a full survey of the site. Sitting inside a military installation, it's now being left to rot and ruin. Just look at it today on Google Earth. And, finished or not, the Layer Pyramid is part of the story of pyramid development in the Old Kingdom. And at the very, very least, we should have a full detailed account of the pyramid to preserve the knowledge for generations to come. Zawyet el Aryan is home to two unique and magnificent structures, the Layer Pyramid of the 3rd Dynasty and the so-called unfinished pyramid from the 4th, and the latter is in an even worse state of preservation, completely neglected, overgrown, and no doubt damaged beyond repair. I'm not a pessimist, but I don't think that this situation will change anytime soon, and it won't be long before both structures go past the point of no return. Pyramids are the biggest tourism drivers for Egypt, and we have two important Old Kingdom structures right here. And, given the chance, so many of us would happily join the queue to take a look inside. I sadly just don't think we'll ever get the chance. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Ancient Architects. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and please leave a comment below. Thank you very much.